Siamo saltem vobis, o miseri de inferu. Pardon me, I was just conversing with the damned. Greetings, viewers, and welcome to the RCN TV Halloween Movie Marathon. I am Lord Damien McDonovan, pirate, vampire, necromancer, demonologist, and your host for this Marathon of the Macabre. And for the next 33 and a half hours, your souls are mine. Apart from the brief 4-hour interlude in which RCN will be showing you local high school football, do not attempt to adjust your television set. Yes, I really am this pale. Not that it matters, since most of our lineup is black and white in the first place. And before any of you question whether or not I glitter, let me assure you there will be none of that Twilight crap here. There are many kinds of vampires in the world, but the only ones that sparkle in sunlight are on fire. Now that we've got that out of the way, come with me on a journey through the strange and unusual, the grim and the ghastly, the demonic and the demented. Our first venture into the hellish void is a short one. A little preview for those of you with uneasy stomachs. We present to you the first chapter in the 1939 serial series starring legendary Dracula actor Bela Lugosi. Throughout the serial, Lugosi plays Dr. Zorka, a mad scientist bent on world domination. His ambitions curtailed by the interference of foreign powers in the FBI and by his own lab assistant Monk. So, let's get this bazaar of the bizarre started with The Phantom Creeps, the Menacing Power. Welcome back, boils and ghouls. As some of you might recognize, the Phantom Creeps serials have had a major impact on a great deal of modern entertainment, including the music of rocker and director Rob Zombie. The scrolling text at the beginning of each episode should look familiar as well, as it was the inspiration for the opening sequence of the Star Wars films. There's more, but I'll save some of that for a little later. First, now that we are officially into All Hallows Eve, let us continue our programming with a true horror classic. A 1959 film directed by gimmick king William Castle and starring none other than the Lord of Horror himself, Vincent Price. He's offering $10,000 to anyone who can stay in a creepy murder mansion for one night. But is he really only looking to throw a party? Or is there an actual ghost story unfolding in the walls of House on Haunted Hill? When House on Haunted Hill was released in theaters, William Castle created a new gimmick to help sell the film, Emergo. Castle devised a system of pulleys that hung above the audience in theaters, and when the skeleton rises from the pit of acid, a plastic skeleton would be pulled out from behind the screen and slide back and forth, dangling above the heads of movie patrons. Hitchcock was so impressed by how well this low-budget feature did in theaters that he was further encouraged to make his own low-budget character piece, a little film we all know today as Psycho. Oh, well now where did this come from? Looks like one of those little coffin boxes from the movie. For Damien McDonovan. There should be a lord in there somewhere. Shall we see what's inside? Brace yourself, winter is coming. Damn snowman. I think I need a drink. While I'm hunting down a refreshment, you stay put and watch the next film. Lionel Atwill and a pre-King Kong Fay Wray in 1933's The Vampire Bat. The Vampire Bat was filmed on what was left over from the exterior sets from Boris Karloff's Frankenstein. which would again be used much later for Mel Brooks' spoof Young Frankenstein. You could almost compare this film to one of those from the studio The Asylum produced today, but instead of capitalizing on the hype of a movie title or storyline to rush out a cheap knockoff, they capitalized on the hype of their leading actors. Atwill and Ray had previously done several films together, and there was already a lot of press for their Mystery of the Wax Museum, which they had just wrapped up. Oh, that's better. There we go. That should keep me going for a little while. I'm a wee bit flustered after that snowman reared his ugly head. You'll have to forgive my being cryptic. I have a long-standing grudge with Frosty. He continues to meddle in my affairs and represents a holiday that it just keeps expanding further and further into my territory. And no matter what you do, he just reforms like a T-1000. He just won't die! And speaking of things that should have quit while they were ahead, here is 1962's The Brain That Wouldn't Die. The Brain That Wouldn't Die has also had a significant impact on our modern culture, primarily horror culture. The Freak of Death and Freak of Life line was sampled for the song Bound and Gagged by one of my favorite modern bands, Creature Feature. The living head in a pan of fluid motif might also ring a bell for those of you who have seen Stuart Gordon's Reanimator, starring Jeffrey Combs and based on the works of H.P. Lovecraft. Something else this film has in common with Reanimator is that they've both inspired musicals, as has our next feature. After disheartening feedback from his 1960 movie Bucket of Blood, Roger Corman was leery of making another horror film, but was granted access to the set to use one more time before it was torn down, something he did quite often. With his film pre-cast and his story written, he brought in 2 camera crews and used a one-take approach to finish filming before the set was demolished in 2 days. Over the following weeks, he filmed exterior scenes and put together a hilariously gruesome tale of a man-eating plant. The film would gain cult status and inspire an off-Broadway musical, which would then receive its own movie treatment, and then a Broadway revival. The film is, of course, The Little Shop of Horrors, right here on RCN TV Halloween Movie Marathon, with yours truly, Damien McDonovan. Those of you with a keen eye will have recognized Jack Nicholson in the dentist's office. Though only a small part, his presence in the film has been vastly overblown in home video advertising to capitalize on his current stardom. Interestingly enough, Nicholson's role was cut from the stage musical, but was added back into the movie musical and played to the hilt by Bill Murray. Who can forget him writhing in his masochistic pleasure in Steve Martin's dentist chair, screaming for a candy bar as his reward? That reminds me, I hope you've all had enough treats for your little visitors this week. Ghostly guests need supplication, lest they wreak havoc on a well-manicured lawn. And speaking of phantom visitations, see what I did there? Segue. Our next delve into darkness is the story of Mary Henry, who escapes a deadly drag race accident. And no, she didn't fall off of RuPaul's stage. Trying to restart her life, she is constantly harassed by an apparition simply known as the Man. As she experiences other moments of terror and confusion, she finds herself drawn more and more to a nearby run-down pavilion, the home of the Carnival of Souls. Yes, that's right, Damien McDonovan. Well, there should be a Lord in there somewhere. Ah, yes, I wanted to talk to you about... Oh, your assistant told you. Well, yes. Well, yes, but... Well, that's all fine and dandy, but I'd really just like you to admit that you stole the ending of Carnival of Souls for your own film. Well, yes, it's exactly the same. The main protagonist has been dead the whole time. Oh, come on, Shyamalan. Just admit that you stole the end of this movie for The Sixth Sense. Hello? Hello? He hung up on me. Oh well. Probably a good idea to get him off the phone before he tries to buy and ruin my life story like he did The Last Airbender. Besides, even Carnival of Souls is just really a ripoff of an old Twilight Zone episode called The Hitchhiker. Where were we? Oh, yes, RCN Halloween TV movie of marathon, yes. Well, continuing on our journey through the realm of the undead, we present to you with the first feature of what is a short Bela Lugosi marathon. In it, Lugosi stars as a voodoo master who runs a sugarcane mill in which all the workers are zombies under his control. Now, these aren't the flesh-eating ghouls we know and love today. These are the originals. Seemingly dead men, raised and brainwashed into mindless slaves through the use of chemistry and medicines. Nevertheless, White Zombie is considered to be the first full-length zombie film, if you can consider 67 minutes to be full length. Critically praised for its atmosphere and makeup, but panned for its over-the-top story and acting, here is 1932's White Zombie. You know, I'll never forget the first time I met Bela Lugosi. It was 1943 and I saw him at a rap party, and I went up to him and I said, "You remind me of the man." "What man?" he queried. "The man with the power." "What power?" "The power of voodoo." "Hoodoo?" "You do." "Do what?" "Remind me of the man." Lugosi laughed it off, but Sidney Sheldon overheard us and put that whole bit into his own script for The Bachelor and the Bobby Soxer, and now everyone thinks Cary Grant came up with it. Come to think of it, that rap party was for our next movie, a comedic romp in which Lugosi plays a Nazi spy who seems to haunt the house next door to one of the famed East Side kids. This is Ghosts on the Loose. Ah, welcome back, my fiends. I'm checking to see if my ancestral home here, Castle Donovan, is haunted or not. Just a routine inspection, as it were. Always good to know there's a few spirits lurking in the halls. I do have a quota to maintain. Halloween might not be the best time to do this, as the scales would be skewed in favor of the otherworldly anyway. Oh, this. You'd probably thought I'd be using one of those fancy schmancy hoity-toity new electronic things, huh? Well, next you'll be wanting me to pull out my book of spells on an iPad. That's not a bad idea, actually. Anyway, I don't see the word technomancer on my business card. I'm just leery of all this new-fangled electronic equipment. If you want to see what a mess they can make of things, then just check out these next two installments of the Phantom Creeps. Note to self. Design and print business card.